Favor of report.
Have you had time to look over the treasurer's report? Entertain a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Go ahead with your discussion. You said you had some discussion. Yeah, I was hearing things.
We have another topic.
Wait. Making a motion to accept?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said,
Okay. I'm definitely hearing, it must be the bridge meeting. Cheating for sure. Next thing would be the councilman minutes.
Motion to accept.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next order of business, department reports submitted by the police, fire, streets, water, sewer. Any questions on any of those?
Motion to accept. Second.
I had some discussion on it. I just want to make you folks aware. Haley Gearon, would you like to present your findings? Phil Cruz, please.
So, Little Cruiser was a big success. We were able to gather a large donation of non-perishable foods for the families that we were able to give out with Stop the Cop. We had, thanks to the help of Seafront, we were able to get 2 large baskets to give out to each family. There were 5 families overall involved with Stop the Cop. We had a great turnout. Lots of citizens really enjoyed the fact that we did this and that we were able to give back to the families that needed it.
Yeah, any comments? Council? Great job.
I want to make a quick comment. That officer has been on our force for a grand total of less than a month. And she did this, pulled this all together, and is doing, have you done your nursing home event already?
Yes, sir.
And, yeah. Go ahead and tell us about that.
I believe on Tuesday we went and took Christmas cards and some just sugar-free Christmas candies and went out to all the residents and the workers at Flippo's. And we just greeted, we talked with them for a little bit, wished them all a happy holiday, and just visited with them for a little bit.
This is the police force we deserve.
One other thing I want to bring up to the council is I had Lewis Ford from Fayetteville reach out to me. They're interested in buying or trading our police vehicle, unmarked vehicle that we have out there. Instead of trying to go through .gov or trying to sell it on our own. They originally offered $13,000 for a trade-in, and they have a new 2025 Ford Police Interceptor. It's listed at $49,620. Now we would, they were originally offered $13,000. I got them to lower the price from $49,620 to $44,620, and give us a trade-in of $16,000, which brings us to a net value of $29,620 to buy that vehicle, a 2025 $50,000 vehicle for roughly $30,000, that just over half the tax. The thing is, the Dodge Charger that we're going to sell, we estimate we could get anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000, which also would go onto that list. My question to you folks is, do we want like anything else, the dealers are only gonna hold these things for a certain amount of time and move on. But I told them that I would check with you folks before I made any kind of decision on this. I want your input on that.
Is this vehicle we're looking at, is it, I know there's like civilian and police versions.
This is definitely a police intercept.
Okay, so we don't need to, we're not gonna find out later on that we gotta add $10,000 more stuff to it. I mean, it's ready to go.
Right. I mean, other than putting our lights that we
Well,
have,
yeah.
put it on a new vehicle.
But I mean, it's not we're not trying to make it so first out of the south here.
No, it's a actual police vehicle, whereas this other one was a civilian Ford.
Right.
Okay, and it wasn't a police vehicle.
Okay.
So, whatever you guys want to decide.
I guess my biggest question is our police department already adequately supplied with police vehicles before we spend our money if we don't necessarily need another one?
We're
If we're
actually-
going to sell two, do we need another one?
We're actually low one, okay? The silver one is used by the part-time officer with and putting, hours in. And, the blue one, Officer Dominic has, Haley's got the, which one?
Civilian model.
Yeah, and then, Beth's got the other white one with the emblem on it. So, yeah, we kind of do need a vehicle to replace that civilian one.
According to this, they have nothing, no money in their depreciation account.
Exactly, so that would
So
be
what would
the
that
other,
come, general fund?
it would have to come from our sweeps account, general fund. But you guys would have to approve taking it out of that. Because we didn't appropriate for a new vehicle for the police department, but we did cut his budget quite a bit with this approval.
I kind of did hear what the chief had to say, but,
He said,
yeah, and I wasn't saying that because I knew he wasn't here. I just would kind of like to hear what he had to say about it before I made a vote.
as far as, I've already talked to him about all this, and he feels that if by chance, the highest we would probably get for that civilian vehicle is around 18,000. So we're looking at 2,000, but I got him to knock off $4,000, actually $5,000 off the list price.
So Mayor, we're replacing a vehicle that's not using, correct? Is what that is what we're talking about?
Yes.
It's kind of a civilian vehicle, not.
Yeah, and we're getting what year is it? It's a 21, isn't it? Yeah, the one that this is a 2025, one that we would be trading in is a 2021.
And how many vehicles do we have, or do we need as far as?
We need at least 4, okay? That would only leave us the unmarked gold car, trying to think of what the name of it is, another Ford. That ran bid. So that would be like a spare in case, but that one has a lot of problems with it too, and it's quite old. But we're gonna be able to get rid of those 2 that are big. I mean, I'm sorry, we don't need a Dodge Charger for a town that's 5 miles long. Yeah, I entertain a motion to, that we go ahead with it, or, we don't entertain it at all.
Just from an outside perspective, I shouldn't say outside, but a perspective of the market in general, I don't think we're going to miss out on this vehicle overnight if we try to get some input from it. I personally won't be comfortable with making a vote on this tonight since it's just being presented. I'd like to see numbers and things like that. I'm also kind of raised by a different generation where I don't like to spend money before I know I have the money in account. We're getting ready to probably spend some money tonight too on other things that we have to take account for. That, I do want our police to be fully functional and supported with all the tools necessary to keep our town safe.
charger and have that money, like Mike said, have that money in the bank, so that we really knew what we were looking at.
I don't feel like right now we're inadequately equipped, are we? I mean, everyone's currently has a, I know we don't need a charger to do 140 through town, but I also don't know if we right now need a $30,000. That we have money, but that's just my take on it, and I'd like public input before I make any sort of vote on anything.
That's why I brought it up.
Oh yeah, no, I don't feel like you're pushing it on us, I just, that's where I stand.
No, I just told this guy that I will get back to him on whatever we decide, so let's push it off and we'll look at
Talk
this
another
another
day.
day.
We can talk
That's
about
all.
it.
Do you have anything, Ron? You're looking at me like you do.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna play the devil's advocate. We know we got sewer problems, we're gonna take a lot of that extra money we got left over, and I don't see spending some $30,000 on a Yukon vehicle right now. That's just my opinion.
Very good, we'll move on then.
I guess we still need to all around, department reports.
Yeah, did you guys have any more questions? I mean, I do have one more thing on, the streets, not really part of the streets, but actually one of our street guys takes care of it, and that was the Head and you guys received the letter that I had received, from Have a Heart, that was in your, box. Basically, them saying that they're requiring, whenever cities bring a dog into their shelter and they accept it, the cities will be paying a $25 fee for it. So, we had talked about, maybe, if we ended up having to do it, we would charge a $50 fee, because if we're taking that dog and bringing it over there, that's a time, expense, and everything that we're giving to them. So, I don't, it would be behoove anybody that wants to surrender it, we would just advise that it's cheaper for you to take over the Have a Heart yourself, get charged $25. That's what apparently they were charging their other people for.
Do we owe them any money right now?
Yeah, we've got, what is it, $25?
$25 for one surrender.
Yeah. So, the only thing I had on it was, we're gonna go ahead and pay the bill. We're, obligated to do that. We had an agreement with them many years ago. But we were under the understanding that if someone surrendered it to us, we wouldn't be, we wouldn't be charged for stray dogs that were dropped off or dumped in the city of Old Shoals. But the ones that surrendered the dog, we wouldn't be charged by them bringing a surrendered dog. It's the way they worded their first letter. They've corrected that, so everybody's going to be, no matter if it's a stray dog or if it's a surrendered dog by an individual because they can't take care of it anymore, we're going to be charged $25. So my next thing would be down the road, we put an amendment into our ordinance resolution stating that we're going to be charging a certain fee for any of these surrendered dogs, so it'll help cover our costs.
Phil, how many surrender dogs do we have a year average? I don't know if it changes.
Surrender only?
Yeah,
3?
so we're talking about $75 there.
I've got more strays than I do at surrender.
How many strays?
Average a year, depending on, summertime I get more than I do in the wintertime. I'm having like 5, 6 during summer.
So total for a year.
So about 8.
So $11 total.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're saying that we would charge the people who are surrendering their dogs to us.
Right.
This is that we don't have anything, no line item either on the budget that we've passed covering this cost. It's basically a new cost to us. We'll have to make those corrections too.
I'm gonna have to ask the question of the lawyer, because working for nonprofits, it is against their statutes for them to charge us. They can only ask for a donation. So we have to be careful or they could lose their nonprofit status. That's just the way the law reads in the state of Arkansas. So, where do we stand on that?
Then it is for them to make a determination on what they are choosing to do. So that's my take on that. It's not something the city needs to worry about.
No, it isn't, but at the same time, I don't want to hook up, have a heart by the way we word a resolution.
I don't know. But
Okay.
When we change the wording, we require a $25 donation to the name of our $10 lead city indirectly out of the league.
I'm sure we could, come up with something like that. Does it have to be a resolution, or does it just,
I mean, if you'll have line items for it, I don't think it's going to pose much of an issue. Realistically, technically, the city's not supposed to directly contribute to nonprofits just as donations, and that's part of where they kind of tricks up a little bit. And so it's kind of one of those things. It's like, yes, they're providing a service, and so if the city views it as a fee, the fees they're paying for services they're providing, all cool. And so,
It's not a fee.
right, it's not a fee. It's a
and it's not we can't.
It's not a fee, it's not a donation, it's a service charge, whatever. But you kind of see what I'm getting at, because on one hand, obviously, it would behoove the city to make sure that they are financially supported for the value of providing this service, because otherwise we're going to have to
What's going to be paid?
yeah.
See, the service charge probably.
However works for them. If the city is happy to pay a fee and they want to treat it like a donation, whatever y'all are good with. But it's not
We don't need to worry about that, that's serious, really.
right. So, yeah.
But I'm saying if the resolution calls it a fee, then they're committed.
Bill, did you have something?
Yeah, when you say that, like we tell people they want to take their art, and they're full, they're really not full, they need spots open for us.
Right.
So it could be on our benefit that they say, okay, no, we'll take it, then we make the extra 25 on it for the fee, because they'll tell the person, we're full, you can't bring the dog here. So it might help us on that too, because they always, we get priority on space.
Okay, we'll work on this one down the road here. Do you guys, for the, had a motion for, accepting the police, fire, streets, water, and sewer report?
We already know.
Mike Powell made the motion. And all those in favor? Any opposed? Commission reports, planning and zoning really didn't have any, meeting. Parks, you guys received, the parks report. Do you have any questions on the parks report? If not, I'll take a motion to accept.
Can you read what you got from the court? Does that entail
The playground equipment.
Well, yeah, it's way down at the bottom. On the agenda, I'll talk about that at the end. If you want me to talk about it now, we'll get it out of the way now.
You're running the show.
We finally got a letter from the Corps of Engineers, approving us to install the playground equipment they donated to the city to be, placed at Browns Beach, where the swing set is. So, right now we have it all laid out, painted out, and I got it all the, footings where they need to be, all GPS, and I'll probably start digging on that this weekend. so that we can put the concrete footings and the structure, base structure in. So that's a go, and that's going to be moving down the road. The other thing that I have is, would be a question to our lawyer here. We received AML, and I think I copied for the host agreement.
Right.
Okay, and they came back and they took out the confidentiality section of it. I don't know if you had time to.
I thought, yeah, I think it's in the update.
This one's okay now, or?
I don't have any specific objections to this point yet. So,
Okay. You guys have any questions about the new host agreement for bringing the fishing tournament to Old Shoals? We're going to be co-sponsoring with the company that sets all these tournaments up, and it's going to be October 3rd and 4th. So we'll get the word out to all our resorts so that they can book those dates. We'll leave them open for these amateur boaters. They're expecting anywhere between 80 and 150 boats. So you times that by 2, that's how many people we got on that boat.
So where are we at on sponsorship for the $2,000? Is the city going to do this under economic development, or is the chamber going to do this, or I'm kind of confused on that.
the way it currently reads is if the city elects to do so and chooses to pay them that, then they're going to try to come here. Basically what it looks like.
Okay.
So,
One thing that the AML did come back with, of course, they got a long boy deal on it, and one of the options was, and this is more or less for like Little Rock, if you have an A&P commission, which consists of 7 members, 4 of them would be business owners, 2 of them would be, or one's at-large person, and 2 of them would be council individuals. With that being said, that's kind of what our parks is doing right now. Okay, and the A&P stands for Advertisement and Promotional Commission. So that's kind of what we're doing. That's what we did with Dan Jam. We're trying, by us giving $2,000 as being the co-host to this event, they are going to be promoting our city, which is going to help all our resorts, all our restaurants, anything that we have business-wise here in town. Okay, so we are going to get a benefit in it, and as long as we do see a benefit in it, we're okay under the laws. What I understand
Wait a minute, there's something you guys need to understand. There's a bass tournament down in Alabama where one of their tournament professionals ran over a boat, killed people. It's under big time litigation right now. And they're suing also the sponsors of the tournament and the tournament itself. So you might need to talk to him. If you sponsor something like that and there is a major accident in it, is the city going to be held liable? And that was the Elite Series Bass Tournament. And it is this is something that's big, guys. So you got to watch that too.
Okay, thank you.
So I wouldn't be particularly concerned about that primarily because the city's requirements under the contract and activities the city takes, basically giving them money. There's not any other supervision or activity
Right.
the city is involved in other than saying, hey, we're giving you money and we are sponsoring this here, we'll sign next to yours and we're cool. And so when it comes to liability issues, yes, anybody involved in any kind of accident can try and tie in any big pockets that they see around. And if something happens here and somebody wants to point the city and say, oh, you wronged me, they might try, but the city would have, it's one of those issues where it's like, oh, if you ran into somebody driving down the street and you say, oh, the city's somehow at fault, it's like, I mean, if you might be able to make that argument, but that's on you for hitting somebody with your car. In the same way, that's on you for hitting somebody with your boat. And so unless the city has like deliberately done something in order to create a dangerous situation that you have then engaged in, like hitting someone with something or having some liability issue happening, I just don't see that being a very
And basically, this co-sponsor is for the advertisement portion.
Right, exactly. And so the city wouldn't really have any kind of liability at this point because the city hasn't done anything.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, let me say this. I think, in my opinion, there's a difference between a host and a sponsor. We're nowhere saying that we're sponsoring the tournament, we're just hosting the tournament. And the reason I feel like the city would do this, and it hasn't been done in the past, is because if we host the tournament, not sponsor, if we host it, it will come here every year. We will get this tournament every year. If the city of Shoals does, if we allow someone else to take control of it, then we might lose it. So I see no reason why. And there's been 30 tournaments in Arkansas since 1994. They've only been here one time, 24. So that's surprising when I saw it. So they're pitching 4 or 5 lakes in Arkansas the last 30 years and only came here once. This is an Arkansas tournament. From Major League Fishing. So I just feel like as the city, when trying to grow the city, this would be a way to guarantee something happening every year.
Yeah, and that is my mistake. Okay, I said sponsor, it's not a sponsor, we're hosting, we're a co-host, which is definitely different. Okay, moving on. Russ, we kind of discussed all this. Russ, do you have any more on it? Alderman Howell?
Yeah, last week I received a text message from Charles Farrell. He's a citizen here in town, and he asked me to speak on his behalf due to his discontent with the chamber being represented on our city website. I'm going to read to you his point, and then I'll let everyone talk about it, and I'll say how I feel about it. Where are we at here? When you click on the city website, this is from it, under the business section, it redirects you to the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce is nothing more than an advertising company. There is no direct connection between the city and the chamber. If the city is going to offer a business button on the website, it should list all licensed city businesses. Those website services also paid for by the taxpayer. My thought on it is, we're not actually promoting the chamber in any way on it when you click on it. It's a resource for information on the city. Now, on the taxpayer end of it, I can kind of get behind that, but we don't have any single business represented on there. It's a list of businesses that are part of a resource, and it has different shopping and dining on there. It's kind of a weird thing for me because I do see the point where it's taxpayer money and it does represent something, but on the other end, you know, the chamber has donated thousands of dollars to various parts of the community this year. I believe there are 4 of us on here who are chamber members. So to say that they're not a part of the city, I have to disagree with. But I do see the point, but also we don't list any specific businesses on our city site. So
All we did is we applied a link so that they could get further information about our city through the chamber. That's all that's being done.
there's no promotion in any.
No. One of the things that I took note of when I first moved here was the disconnect between the chamber and City Hall. and how destructive and how productive that was. And that has been very much bridged, and Mike is correct, they donated thousands of dollars to various projects. They've stepped up every time there's been a need, and, I don't get this at all.
I just told the citizen
Right.
I would provide their point.
The chamber is trying to do what we're trying to do, what all of you in the audience have been trying to do, which is bring this city back. And anybody that's doing that in a positive, constructive way, I think we need to encourage that rather than discourage that. So that's my opinion. And yes, I am a chamber member. And I don't feel like I'm getting any special stroke out of it either. It's just a resource. Like any other website you go to and click on, a tab that gives you more resources. That's it.
Any other comments? Let's move on to old business, ordinance 2025-15, alcohol privilege tax. Before I go read 6 pages of this, anybody have any problem with any of this? Okay. Ordinance number 2025-15, ordinance number 2025-15 will repeal and replace ordinance 2007-03, establishing an annual privilege tax and license upon the storage, transportation, and sale of alcohol beverages, established fees, therefore requiring a state license, insurance restricting sales to areas known C1 and C2, requiring a certificate of occupancy, establishing hours for sales, therefore declaring an emergency, and for other purposes. Whereas by referendum, the citizens of Marion County have declared it lawful to sell alcoholic beverages within the county, and whereas it is necessary to control and govern the sale of alcoholic beverages within the corporate limits of the city of Shoals, and whereas it is necessary to govern the hours of sale and location where alcohol beverages will be stored and or sold, therefore be it ordained by the City Council of Shoals, Arkansas, Section 1, definition. The term person for the purpose of this ordinance shall mean one or more persons, a company, a corporation, a partnership, a syndicate, or association. The term alcoholic beverage for the purpose of this ordinance shall mean alcohol, spirits, I don't know what that is. Wine and beer and or their byproducts. The term,
Vitus,
yeah, what is it?
grown from the vine.
Oh, okay. They got wine right after that. The term premises for the purpose of this ordinance shall mean the place of business completely enclosed location, particularly described in a liquor license where alcohol beverages are stored, displayed, or offered for sale. The term employee for the purpose of this ordinance shall mean any agent, manager, clerk, or other person employed by wholesalers and or retail dealers, any person hired or employed on a contractual basis, or any person receiving any remuneration for his or her services, be it currency, indebtedness, or services performed. The term light wine, in Arkansas, the definition of light wine refers to fermented juices of grapes or other fruits with an alcohol content of 0.5% to 5% by weight. This classification is part of the state's wine tax regulation, which categorizes wines based on their alcohol content. Light wines are generally characterized by their lower alcohol levels, making them more suitable for those who prefer lighter options without the effects of high alcohol content. F. Retail on premises for restaurants and bars selling alcohol for consumption on site. G. Retail off-premises for grocery stores, convenience stores, and liquor stores selling alcohol for consumption off-site. H. Private clubs for private clubs serving alcohol to members and guests. I. Wholesale dealer and distributor. Any person who sells beer or light wines to retail dealers in quantities of 3 gallons or more. Section 2, application before any person shall engage in the wholesale, retail, alcohol, beverage business in the city of Old Shoals, an application shall be made to the city for the granting of a license. Said application shall contain a sworn statement of the name of the business sought to be licensed, its address, the names, home addresses, home telephone numbers of all persons owning or holding an interest in said business, the name, address, and telephone numbers of the owners of the premises in which the business is to be conducted, the applicant's state license, city certification of occupancy, proof of insurance in the form of a copy of the policy, and non-refundable license fee of $250 shall accompany such application. If the premise is leased, a copy of the lease will, which includes but not limited to the dates the lease is valid, each time the lease is renewed, a copy will be submitted to the city. D, any alcohol beverage license is non-transferable. E, if the premise is sold, subleased, or there is any change in the ownership of the premise and or persons involved in the application, the license is void. A new application process must be instituted, including the fees. Alcohol beverage license is valid for 1 year from the date of issuance and must be renewed on or before July 31st of each year. Section 3. B. Wholesale dealers, alcohol beverages, the business of storing, transporting, and or selling of alcohol beverages, except Arkansas produced wines, at wholesale within the city is hereby declared to be a privilege, and for the exercise of such privilege, there is hereby levied an annual privilege tax of $250 for each such business conducted. Section 4, fee on and off-premises retail dealers, beer, malt liquors, and light wine. The business of storing, transporting, selling, and or dispensing any and all beer, malt liquors, and light wines for off-premise consumption at retail will within the city is hereby declared to be a privilege, and for the exercise of such privilege hereby an annual privilege tax shall be levied as follows. A, for each retailer doing business within the city, $15 for a retailer whose total gross annual sales do not exceed $1,000. $20 for a retailer whose total gross annual sales exceeds $1,000, but do not exceed $2,000, plus an additional $5 USC for each $1,000 gross annual sales in excess of $2,000. After $3,000, every $1,000 be a $5 fee. At the time each retail dealer applies for a new permanent license, said retail dealer shall file with the city of Old Shoals Hall at affidavit signed by said retail dealer showing gross revenues received by said retail dealer from the sale of beer, malt liquors, and light wines during the preceding year. Whenever the city treasurer or office manager has ascertained that a retailer has secured a permit for an amount less than that which should have been paid, he or she requires the payment of the difference plus a penalty in the amount equivalent to 100% of said difference, or cancel the permit. The office manager shall notify the director of alcohol beverage control of the identity of the retailer failing to comply with the provisions of this section, in order that the director may notify wholesale dealers to discontinue sales to such delinquent retailers in accordance with Arkansas Statute 3-5-212. When such permit, license fee, and penalty is paid to the office manager shall notify the director of alcohol beverage control that such retailer has paid said fee. Section 5. Fee on and off-premise retail dealers of alcohol beverages. The business of storing, transporting, selling, and or dispensing at retail alcohol beverages except at Arkansas produced wines within the city is hereby declared to be a privilege, and for the exercise of such privilege, there is hereby levied an annual privilege tax of $250 for each on and off-premise retail operated within the city. Section 6, location. It shall be unlawful for any person to sell or engage in the wholesale or retail alcohol beverage business at any location other than that zone for C1 or C2. Other locations can be approved by resolution passed by the City Council of the City of Old Shoals. Section 7. Hours of operation for retail dealers that hold a permit for off-premise retail or on-premise retail for consumption of alcohol beverages. For Arkansas Statute 3-4-407, these more restrictive hours detailed below shall be punishable by a fine of $100 to $500, and that violation shall not be an administrative violation against the permit issued by the division. Enforcement shall be by local law enforcement officers within the jurisdiction. Such citation shall be heard only in local district court. 8. Off-premise retail. It shall be unlawful for any person or employee to sell, offer to sell, or give away at wholesale or retail any alcohol beverage before the hour of 7 a.m. and after the hour of 12 a.m. midnight. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and no sale on Sundays, with a possible change for off-premise businesses to sell on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. midnight if the council votes to put it on the ballot and it is voted on by the people at the next election. B. On-premise retail. It shall be unlawful for any person and or employee to sell, offer to sell, or give away or at wholesale or retail any alcoholic beverage before the hour of 7 a.m. Central Standard Time and after the hour of 12 a.m. midnight, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. A. For those who hold a permit that allows on-premise consumption of alcohol beverages may operate on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 12 midnight. C. If you are a retail dealer, which is active sales, off-premises consumption, it shall be unlawful to consume any alcohol beverage on the premises by anyone at any time. D. It shall be unlawful for any person other than the person of ownership and or his or her employee to be on the premises after closing. Section 8. Age limit. It shall be unlawful to sell or give away any alcohol beverage to anyone under the age of 21 years of age. B. The burden of proof legal age shall fall on the person or ownership and or their employees. C. Unless you fall under the exceptions as provided in Section D or E below, it shall be unlawful for a wholesaler, retailer, or transporter of alcohol beverages to allow an employee under the age of 21 years of age to have anything to do with the selling, transporting, or handling of alcohol beverage, and or to be allowed behind the business counter to stock alcohol beverages or to ring up sales. D. A person 19 years of age and older may sell and handle alcohol beverages at a restaurant, private club, hotel, or motel that is licensed for on-premises consumption of alcohol beverages per Arkansas statute. Section 9. Other license and fees. Every person shall procure, in addition to this license, pursuant to this ordinance, all other licenses and or permits issued by the city, county, and state. Section 10. Display of license permits. A. All licenses and or permits issued by the city, county, and state for alcohol beverage sales shall be contained in a clear view frame and displayed in a conspicuous location within the premises for the general public to view. B. The person of ownership and or their employees must provide said license permits on demand to an authorized on-duty law enforcement personnel for inspection. Section 11. Criminal acts. It is unlawful for the person of ownership of and his or her employees not to immediately notify 911 and/or Bull Shoals City Police Department when he or she knows a crime has been committed on the premises, be it a misdemeanor or felony. Section 12, penalties and/or fines. A, every person or employee who violates any section of this ordinance shall be deemed guilty of a misdemeanor and upon conviction thereof, and the license of such person shall be subject to revocation or suspension. B, upon conviction thereof, a fine of not less than $100 nor more than $500 plus court costs for each day's violation of the said section shall constitute a separate offense. Section 13, enforcement of this ordinance shall rest with the chief of police of the city of Bull Shoals, Arkansas, and his sworn officers. Section 14, severability. If any provision, clause, sentence, paragraph, or section of this ordinance or the application thereof shall be held invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction such as invalidity shall not affect the other provisions of this ordinance, which can be given effect without an invalid provision or application into this end. The provision of this ordinance are declared severable. Section 15, emergency. The City Council of the City of Bull Shoals, Arkansas has determined the sale, storage, and availability of alcohol beverages be controlled within the city. An emergency is declared to exist and to protect the health and safety of the citizens. This ordinance shall have full force and effect from after its passage and publication. Ordinance 2025-15 will repeal and replace Ordinance 2007-03.
I want to say something. Do I have a motion to accept?
I make a motion to accept.
Do I have a second? Discussion. As long as that explanation was, this is the actual form that they have to fill out. I timed myself filling this out. It takes 7 minutes to do. Okay? This, when you read the ordinance, it sounds super onerous and it's like horrible and oh my God, who would ever want to do that? 7 minutes. If you have the figures in front of you, so just so you all know, we're not just crazy. Yeah, this is a very slim process to do. It's much more streamlined than it used to be. People used to have to bring their books in here to have us look at them. So, well,
It's over.
So anyway, and Bill did a great job reading that, but it sounds super onerous. 7 minutes of work.
How much good cost is the debt at the VFW or 178 Club? You don't know?
Yeah, so far we've collected everybody but Laura so far. Okay. VFW is paying the $250. Okay. The 178 Club came in and paid their $250. Okay. Harps and Dollar General has paid their fees with the additional $5 per $1,000 that they sell. So we're all up to date other than Laura's, and we start the process again after June 30th. Okay. And, the state ABC is from, July 1st to June, the end of June. So. But all our businesses are working with us now. Well, we haven't done this in years. You're right, but we still had the ordinance on file. Okay, and it should have been done. So we're doing it now. And we just kind of cleaned up this ordinance. I'll have a roll call on this.
Councilman Hutchinson?
We're voting yes to pass this. Is that what we're doing, Bill?
Yeah, motion and second. Now we're looking for all in favor.
I'm in favor, yes.
Councilman Webb?
Yes.
Councilman Monkey?
Yes.
Councilman Ward?
Yes.
Councilman Bree?
Yes.
And Councilman Hopps?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to ask for a motion to suspend the rules to read the second and third reading by title only.
I make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Second reading ordinance number 2025-15 will repeal and replace ordinance 2007-03, establishing an annual privilege tax and license upon the storage, transportation, and sale of alcohol beverages, establishing fees, therefore requiring a state license, insurance, restricting sales to areas zoned C1 and C2, requiring a certificate of occupancy, establishing hours for sales, therefore declaring an emergency and for other purposes. Do I have a motion to accept?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And for a motion, we have the emergency clause, so looking for a motion to suspend the rules to read, well, we know it said second, we already called it second, third, okay. Third reading, thank you. Ordinance number 2025-15 will repeal and replace ordinance 2007-03, establishing an annual privilege tax and license on the storage, transportation, and sale of alcohol beverages, establishing fees, therefore requiring a state license issuance, restricting sales to areas zoned C1 and C2, requiring a certificate of occupancy, establishing hours for sales thereof, declaring an emergency, and for other purposes. So I have a motion to accept. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The next thing on the agenda is, we need to vote on what we're going to do as far as making an increase in pay for our public works department when they receive a certificate required license that's required by the state to run our water sewer. And I'm looking for some sort of increase. If we gave, in the past, the city gave 25 cents for a certificate for level 1, 2, 3, or 4 in water and sewer. They gave an increase for floodplain manager certificate, and a 25-cent raise is equivalent to around $500 increase in their salary. A 35-cent increase would be $700. A 50-cent increase would be a $1,000 increase.
Mr. Mayor, at this time, I'd like to make the motion that we give the holder of said certificate a 50-cent an hour pay raise.
I second that.
Any discussion?
Is this going to cover, and I brought this up at workshop, I understand all the water stuff, but I still think there's other things, like, for instance, Phil getting certified to do the animal control. I think we need to include that in this. If people are going to go out of their way to do more than one job and get certified to do that job, I think we need to reward them for that. Whether it's water management, sewer management, animal control, whatever. So that's what I personally think if we're going to do this for one person, we need to do it for everybody that's going out and getting extra certification.
Okay, I'll take this out of order because I do have a resolution on the agenda here, and it's resolution 2025-R34. A resolution requiring the city of Shoals to grant an hourly wage increase for public works employees that receive for a required license certificate whereas the city of Bull Shoals is required to have a level 2 water license and a level 3 wastewater license to operate the city's water and sewer departments, and whereas the city of Bull Shoals would like to continue with cross-training our public works employees, and whereas the city of Bull Shoals may have other required licenses and certificates that are needed for public works. Now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Bull Shoals, Marion County, Arkansas. Section 1, the City of Bull Shoals will grant an hourly wage increase for the public works employee that have completed and passed a written exam for a water, sewer, or other required license needed by the city. Section 2, this hourly raise increase will be 50 cents. Good job. Section 2, this hourly raise increase will be 50 cents per hour. This increase will take effect upon the receipt of said license to City Hall given to the mayor, who will notify the city treasurer and all city council members that this hourly pay increase has been given at the next date period. Do I hear a motion to accept? I think we answered here.
I'll make a motion that okay, so that's included in the.
Yeah, it was, for other required license needed by the city.
Okay, so that does take care of the
Takes care of, we have the left lane manager,
I'll move,
he made the motion, wait a second. All those in favor?
Aye. However, works, yes.
Any opposed? Joey, did you abstain?
No, I said aye.
Oh, okay. Let's see. We already talked about procedures for animals surrounded to the shelters.
Now on this pay raise, you're gonna go back to when they completed it?
No, it states, as soon as they delivered it to City Hall and gave it to the mayor, that effective date.
Yeah, you go back to that date.
Go back to the date that they turned it in to City Hall. Okay, next thing. Ordinance number 2025-16, an ordinance repealing ordinance 2013-1, and all other ordinance in conflict herewith, and establishing updated rules and procedures for water, sewer, and sanitation billing for the city of Bull Shoals, Arkansas, and for other purposes, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Bull Shoals, Arkansas, Section 1, Billing Schedule. Water, sewer, and sanitation bills shall be printed within the first week of each month. Section 2, due date. All bills shall be due on or before the 20th day of each month. If the due date falls on a weekend or city recognized holiday, the due date shall move to the next business day. Section 3, late fees. Any account not paid in full by the due date shall incur a 12% late fee on the outstanding balance. Late fees shall be applied regardless of customer class. Section 4, payment plans. Payment plans are available upon request at City Hall, subject to the following conditions. A, eligibility. Payment plans may be granted at the discretion of City Hall and must be formally documented. B, compliance. Payment plans must be honored exactly as agreed. C, monthly obligations. The customer must pay the full monthly bill plus the second the scheduled payment plan amount by the 20th of each month, and all other rules of this ordinance apply. D, default failure to meet any payment plan requirement shall result in automatic water shut-off without further notice, and the meter shall remain locked until the full balance is paid. Any account unpaid at the end of the month shall receive a red tag notice delivered to the customer's door. A $50 service fee shall be applied or added to the account at the time the red tag is issued. If the red tag date falls on a weekend or a city recognized holiday, the red tag shall be issued on the next business day. Section 6, shut off deadline. Customers shall have until the 6th day of the following month to pay the total balance, including all fees. If the 6th day falls on a weekend, or city recognized holiday, the shut-off date shall move to the next business day. Section 6, service disconnection. If payment has not been received by the shut-off date, water service shall be disconnected, and the meter shall be locked. Service shall not be restored until the entire balance, including all fees, is paid in full. Section 8, service restoration. Water service shall be restored only after full payment is made. A reconnection may be performed only by authorized city personnel. Section 9, sewer and sanitation customers. For accounts that include sewer and sanitation only, if the bill remains unpaid after the shut-off date, trash collection service shall be suspended until the account is brought permanent. Section 10, rental properties. If a renter vacates a property with a delinquent balance, the property owner shall be responsible for the full amount due, including all late fees, service charges, and red tag or shut-off fees. Section 11, holiday and weekend adjustments. All deadlines specified in this ordinance, including the due date, red tag date, and shut-off date, shall automatically move to the next day, business day, when they fall on a weekend or a city-recognized holiday. Section 12, administration. City hall personnel shall administer all billing fees, notices, and enforcement actions under this ordinance. Section 3 or 13. Emergency clause is hereby found and determined that the timely billing and collection of water, sewer, and sanitation charges as essential to the efficient operation of municipal utilities, that the inconsistent prior ordinance created confusion, and that this ordinance is necessary for the immediate preservation of public peace, health, and safety. Therefore, an emergency is declared to exist, and this ordinance shall take effect immediately upon passage. Section 14, repeal ordinance 2013-1 and any other ordinance or parts of ordinance in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed. Do I have a motion to accept? Do I have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Look for a motion to suspend the rules to have a second and third reading by title only. All those in favor? Aye. Ordinance number 2025-16, an ordinance repealing ordinance 2013-1 and all other ordinances in conflict herein, and establishing updated rules and procedures for water, sewer, and sanitation, including for the city of Shoals, Arkansas, and for other purposes, be it ordained by the city council of the city of Shoals, Arkansas. Do I have a motion to accept? Motion. Second? All those in favor? Aye. An ordinance, third reading, ordinance number 2025-16, an ordinance repealing ordinance 2013-1 and all other ordinances in conflict herewith, and establishing updated rules and procedures for water, sewer, and sanitation billing for the city of Shoals, Arkansas, and for other purposes, be it ordained by the city council of the city of Shoals, Arkansas. Do I have a motion to accept?
Make motion.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next one is ordinance number 2025-17, an ordinance establishing procedures and measures for electronic fund transfers, EFT, and payments, and for other related purposes. Whereas Arkansas Code annotated 14 59-105 establishes procedure for municipal payments and receivables by means of electronic fund transfers, provided certain measures with proper accounting controls, documentation, and oversight are adopted by ordinance. And whereas the city of Old Shoals City recognizes the use of various electronic payment methods as a safe and efficient method to process certain disbursements and is committed to establishing specific controls and procedures for the utilization of electronic fund transfers. And whereas the procedures outlined below delineate how the city shall engage in proper accounting procedures to be followed in accordance with state statute and regulations laid out by the state auditors. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the City of Council of the City of Old Shoals, Arkansas, Section 1. This ordinance hereby authorizes the city to utilize EFTs for receipt of intergovernmental payments, grant payments, and other revenues where practical, and for the transmittal of payroll, withholdings, tax deposits, bond payments, credit card processing, bank fees, real estate transactions, utility payments, insurance payments, recurring payments, payments to fuel providers, and other disbursements where particular or required. EFTs are defined as transfers by electronic means of the city's funds through banking channels directly into a payee's account in financial institutions in payment of any account allowed against the city. Section 2. The city has determined the proper procedures to initiate an EFT, which shall be subject to the same financial policies, procedures, and controls that govern disbursements by any other payment method. EFT transactions shall not be made without proper authorization of affected parties in accordance with federal and state statutes and accepted business practices. Said procedures are set forth in the policy and procedures document attached hereto as Exhibit 1, EFT policy, and such procedures may be changed from time to time by resolution of the City Council. Section 3, for electronic fund payments, the City of Old Shoals hereby requires 1. Receipt of an invoice from the payee, which is received electronically, shall be printed for the file. 2. Enter of the invoice into a county system by the city treasurer or administrative assistant. 3. Presentation of the invoice and a copy of the proof of payment to the mayor or city recorder for review and signature. 4. Monthly reconciliation of all bank statements, including electronic fund transfers, by the city treasurer and approval of such reconciliation by the mayor. Section 4. Bank balances shall be monitored regularly for unusual or unexpected transactions, and reconciliation of banking activity shall be accomplished in a timely manner with investigation and resolution of reconciliation items. Additionally, the city shall ensure the state auditor has access to files, records, and documentation of all EFT transactions involving the city when required for the conduct of the statutory audit. Section 5, severability. In the event any portion of this ordinance is declared inoperative or invalid as a result of statute or jurisdictional decision, only that portion expressly declared inoperative or invalid shall be affected thereby, and all other provisions shall remain in full force and effect. Section 6, emergency clause. The City Council of the City of Old Shoals, Arkansas hereby determines that this ordinance is necessary for immediate protection of the welfare of the citizens of Old Shoals because it minimizes the expense and inefficiency of paying bills via paper check while preserving the necessary accounting oversight procedures. Therefore, emergency is declared and this ordinance shall take effect and be in full force immediately after its passage, approval, and publication. Do I have a motion to accept? Second, any discussion on it? No discussion, look for a vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? Look for a motion to suspend the rules to read this ordinance by title only the second and third time. Second, all those in favor? Any opposed? Ordinance number 2025-17, an ordinance establishing procedures and measures for electronic fund transfers, EFTs, and payments, and for other related purposes. Do I have a motion to accept?
Make a motion.
All those in favor? Third reading, ordinance number 25-17, ordinance establishing procedures and measures for electronic fund transfers, EFT, and payments, and for other related purposes. Do I have a motion to accept?
Motion.
Here, a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Should go a lot sooner. Resolution 25R29. No. This is I talked this over with our lawyer, and we can pass our procedures for 2026 in this meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, everything here, so I don't think there's anything you need to wait.
Okay. This ordinance 2026-01, an ordinance to repeal and replace ordinance 2025-01, which is an ordinance to establish rules and procedures for the City Council, City of Shoals, Marion County, Arkansas, whereas the Arkansas state statutes provide latitude to municipal government bodies in the establishing of rules and procedures, and whereas the City Council, City of Shoals, has determined that it is the best interest of the city to have such rules and procedures in place to ensure transparency and open communication with its citizens, and whereas this ordinance replaces ordinance 2025-01, and all ordinance or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Shoals, Marion County, Arkansas, Section 1, meetings, a regular meetings by the City Council shall be held on the last Thursday of each calendar month, beginning at 6:30 p.m., except for November and December 2026. City Council meeting will be held on November 19th, 2026, and December 17th, 2026, due to holidays. If an emergency exists, the City Council may set an alternative date by vote for the meeting. B, workshop. Regular workshop meetings of the City Council shall be held on Tuesday, 9 days prior to the regular City Council meeting, beginning at 6:30 p.m., except for November and December 2026. City workshop will be held on November 10th, 2026, and December 8th, 2026. If an emergency exists, the City Council may set an alternate date by majority vote for the meeting. C, special meetings of the City Council may be called by the mayor or by any three aldermen who shall make a request to the recorder treasurer at least 2 days prior, unless a critical emergency exists, to the time specified for such meetings. Such a request shall include the topic to be considered and the reason that consideration of said topic cannot be delayed. The person requesting the meeting shall be responsible for notification at least 2 hours prior. Each alderman, the mayor, and such media that have requested notice to be given. The time and purpose of such meeting and the names of other requested council meetings. Reference ACA 25-19-106. Section 2, order of business. The business of the City Council shall be conducted in the following order for the special meeting called a workshop. Call to order by presiding officer, pledge of allegiance, roll call, discussion on previous council meeting, minutes, treasurer reports, submitted department reports, planning and zoning commission reports, and committee reports. All continuing business, new business, mayor comments and announcements, workshop comments at end of meeting to allow citizens to address agenda items or other concerns, and an adjournment. The business of the city council shall be conducted in the following order for city council meetings or any special meeting that is called by ACA 25-19-106 requirements. 1. Agenda call to order by the presiding officer, pledge of allegiance, roll call, approval of minutes of previous meeting, treasurer's report, department reports, fire, police, public works, commission or committee reports, planning and zoning, etc. Citizens' comments on agenda items only. Council member comments, old continuing business, new business, citizens' comments, mayor's comments and announcements. Adjournment. Meeting shall end by 9 p.m. unless voted to extend for special circumstances. Section 3, presiding officer. Control meeting. The mayor shall preserve order and conduct the proceedings of the meeting following the guidelines of Arkansas Municipal League's procedural rules for municipal officials. B. Absence of mayor under ACA 1443-501, Organization of the Governing Body, Section B3B states that the presiding mayor can designate an elected official that may perform all functions of the mayor during disability or absence of the mayor. Under the statute, I name Randall Bolden to fill the mayoral duties. If the mayor and his designees are both absent from any meeting, the recorder shall perform the functions of this office, or the city council can vote for a presiding officer for that meeting. C. Participation in debate. The presiding officer may speak on any question, recognizing that some discretion must be exercised so as not to override a fair opportunity for debate by members of the council. Section 4, ordinances and resolutions. A. Reading requirement. All bylaws and ordinances shall be read in full on 3 different days unless 2/3 of the members of the city the council shall suspend the rules. ACA 1455-202. D. Voting requirements. 1. Passage of every bylaw, ordinance, resolution, or order to enter into a contract by the council, the yeas and nays, shall be recorded. ACA 1455-2038. 2. To pass any bylaw, ordinance, resolution, or order, a concurrence, a majority of the whole number of members elected to the council shall be required. ACA 1455-203B. 3. Any person or persons taking issue with any ordinance enacted by the city council may, within 30 days of publication of said ordinance, file a referendum petition requesting reconsideration of said ordinance by fully stating reasons the ordinance should be reconsidered within said petition. 4. Emergency clause of any given ordinance shall only be executed if a true emergency exists. ACA 1455-203C1C, existing law. The mayor shall have a vote to establish a quorum of the city council, and when his or her vote is needed to pass any ordinance by law, resolution, order, or motion. That's 1443-501B. Section 5, general rules. The deliberation of the city council shall be conducted in accordance with the parliamentary rule contained in the procedural rules for municipal officials published by the Arkansas Municipal League, which is hereby incorporated in this section by reference. 2. Any council member may bring a topic not on the agenda to the floor discussion. 3. Council members will receive a $50 stipend for attending a council workshop and $50 stipend for the regular council meeting. Any special meeting called by 3 council members or the mayor will receive a $25 stipend. If a city of Shoals council member does not attend any of these meetings, they will not be paid for meetings they are absent from. 4. voluntarily removes themselves from any council meeting or workshop in progress without prior notice through the presiding officer shall forfeit 1/2 of their monthly stipend. 5, all members of the public, city staff, and elected officials shall always accord courtesy and respect to each other. All shall refrain from rude or derogatory remarks, reflections as to integrity, abusive comments, and statements about motives and personalities. Violations of these standards shall be ruled out of order. Egregious violations of this standard shall be grounds for removal. Section 6, suspension of rules. These rules or any part thereof may be suspended in connection with matter under consideration by a recorded vote of 2/3 of the members. Section 7, reconsideration of motions or questions. A, when a motion or question has been decided, it shall be in order for any member of the council who voted on the prevailing side to move for reconsideration at the next succeeding meeting of the council. If a motion to reconsider is made at the succeeding meeting, then a majority of the council is required to decide whether a motion or question is to be reconsidered. B, a motion to reconsider any motion or question shall not be heard if it is not made at the succeeding meeting at which the original motion or question was voted. C, if a motion or question is raised which had previously been decided by the council but not at the same or at the succeeding meeting, then the council, in order to consider the motion or question, must first vote to suspend the rules as set forth in section 4 to allow the question or motion to be brought before it. D, if the council votes to suspend the rules to consider a question or motion once, the council shall not vote to suspend the rules to consider the question or motion again until the beginning of the next scheduled meeting. Section 8, severability. The invalidity or unconstitutionality of the provisions of this ordinance shall not affect any other section hereof, but the same shall remain in full force and effect. Section 9, this ordinance will take effect on January 1st, 2026. Do I have a motion to accept? Do I hear a second? Any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Look for a motion to suspend the rules for a second and third reading by title only. Do I have a second? All those in favor? Ordinance 2026-01, an ordinance to repeal and replace ordinance 2025-01, which is an ordinance to establish rules of procedures for the city council, city of Shoals, Marion County, Arkansas. Have a motion to accept. Do I hear a second? All those in favor? For the third reading, ordinance 2026-01, an ordinance to repeal and replace ordinance 2025-01, which is an ordinance to establish rules of procedures for the city council, city of Shoals, Marion County, Arkansas. Do I have a motion to accept? Do I have a second? All those in favor? Any opposed? Next on the agenda is Resolution 2025-R29, a resolution making all City of Shoals full-time police officers' position salary. Whereas the City of Shoals Police Department wishes for its full-time officers to be paid as salaried employees, and whereas the City of Shoals will have more hourly coverage by making police officers' position salary, allowing officers to work up to 100 hours before compensatory time is paid out at time and a half. And whereas the City of Shoals will increase the salaries of the police department as follows, along with providing an on-call incentive to officers who live within the city limits. And whereas the City of Shoals has 3 full-time certified positions police chief, sergeant, and police officer, along with one certified part-time police officer's position. And the city may have 2 reserve police officers, or in the case where one fully certified full-time officer works as a part-time police officer, the city may have 3 reserve police officers. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Old Shoals, Arkansas, as follows. Section 1, the City Council of the City of Old Shoals approves that a certified police officer of the state of Arkansas working full-time for the City of Old Shoals shall receive a salary of $41,000. The sergeant's position shall receive a salary of $43,000. The chief of police shall receive a salary of $47,000. All police officers will work between 80 and 100 hours per pay period before compensatory time is initiated. Officers have the option of taking compensatory time off or by written consent being paid for working such time at the following hourly rates. Patrol officer, $19 per hour. Patrol sergeant, $20 per hour. Chief of police, $22 per hour. Section 2, police officers who reside within the city of Old Shoals will be paid an additional $100 per pay period for on-call status. And if called out while on call, will receive $20 per call. Section 3, full-time police officers will receive holiday pay on the first pay period in December of each year for the holidays during which they were employed by the city of Old Shoals. The individual health insurance of full-time Old Shoals police officers will be paid by the city of Old Shoals. Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Next, resolution number 2025-R30. A resolution in support of reviving the state-run federal surplus property program administered by the state of Arkansas, whereas the Arkansas Federal Surplus Property Program has historically provided cities, towns, counties, state agencies, fire departments, and nonprofit across the state with access to high-quality government-grade equipment and supplies at a fraction of retail cost. And whereas the program enabled local governments to acquire essential items such as vehicles, tools, office furniture, emergency response gear, and generators at discounts of up to 90%, often paying only 5 to 10% of the original value. And whereas the program was recently shut down due to a reported $300,000 operating deficit, largely caused by changes in federal policy that shifted surplus property sales to online platforms, reducing the volume of high-value items available to the state. And whereas despite this shortfall, local governments collectively paid approximately $900,000 for surplus items through the program, receiving goods worth many times that amount, demonstrating the program's high return on investment and value to Arkansas communities. And whereas the closure of the program disproportionately affects small and rural municipalities that rely on affordable access to durable equipment to maintain public safety infrastructure and essential services. And whereas the Arkansas Legislative Council Joint Performance Review Committee has heard testimony from local officials and emergency responders urging a fiscal impact study and reconsidering of the program's closure. And whereas the city, town, Department of City of Old Shoals has directly benefited from this program in the past and recognizes its critical role in supporting local government operations. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Old Shoals, Arkansas, that we strongly support the revival or replacement of the Arkansas Federal Surplus Property Program. 2, that we urge the Governor, Arkansas General Assembly, and relevant state agencies to explore sustainable funding models or partnerships to restore this vital service. 3, that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Arkansas Department of Public Safety, the Arkansas Legislative Council, and our local legislative delegation. Do I have a motion to accept?
Motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next item, resolution 2025-R31, a resolution making a required deposit for sanitation for City of Old Shoals customers that have sanitation pickup only. Whereas the City of Old Shoals has customers that have water wells and septic fields. And whereas the City of Old Shoals customers stated above have sanitation pickup every month and receive a bill for that service. Now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Old Shoals, Marion County, Arkansas as follows. Section 1, residents of the City of Old Shoals that have a water well and a septic field that are required to have sanitation pickup must also make a deposit of $25 to be placed on their city account. Section 2, the deposit will be held by the City of Old Shoals in the owner's or renter's account. Section 3, if monthly payment for sanitation is not paid in full, the deposit will be used to pay said bill. The trash container will be removed and further trash pickup will be suspended to that account. Have a motion to accept? May I hear a second? Any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution 2025-R32, resolution repealing and replacing resolution number 2023-R07, authorizing payment to Jack Tyler Engineering Incorporated for replacement and design modifications to Bull Shoals Lift Station number 6. Whereas the City Council of Bull Shoals is responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of vital public infrastructure, including wastewater management installation, and whereas Bull Shoals Lift Station number 6 is a critical component of our city's wastewater management system, ensuring the proper functioning and efficient conveyance of wastewater, and whereas Jack Tyler Engineering Incorporated has submitted a detailed proposal outlining the scope of work, materials, and associated costs for the necessary repairs to Bull Shoals Lift Station number 6. And whereas the project has been completed and cost for the repairs to be paid by the city is $19,845 for the total cost to the city. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Bull Shoals that the City Council hereby authorizes the payment of $19,845 to Jack Tyler Engineering Incorporated for the purpose of conducting replacement and design modifications to Bull Shoals Lift Station number 6. The mayor is directed to execute any necessary agreements and documentation with Jack Tyler Engineering Incorporated to facilitate the timely commencement and completion of the repairs. The city treasurer is hereby directed and allocated the necessary funds from the City of Old Shoals sewer depreciation account. Funds in this account are earmarked for the sole of repairs and upgrades to the City of Old Shoals public sewer system. The people responsible for the distribution of city funds are instructed to process the payment to Jack Tyler Engineering Incorporated in the above described amount in a prompt and efficient manner. The City Council expresses its gratitude to Jack Tyler Engineering Incorporated for their commitment to ensuring the proper functioning of critical infrastructure within our city. This resolution repeals and replaces Resolution 2023-R07 and shall take effect immediately upon adoption. May I have a motion to accept? Do I have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? 2025-R33, a resolution to R24, that set a minimum dollar amount for water sewer on commercial properties that use zero water in a month's billing time. Whereas the City of Old Shoals Water and Sewer Department has entered into a contract with a commercial customer, supplying that customer with an active water and sewer service to commercial account. And whereas the commercial consumer has a working service at any time in a billing cycle that have running water and sewer for that business, no matter if they use a drop of water during that billing cycle. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Old Shoals, Marion County, Arkansas, that a commercial business customer that has an active water sewer account with the City of Old Shoals Water and Sewer Department and has used zero water usage during the billing cycle, the commercial business will be charged a minimum bill for water and sewer according to the size water line that feeds the business during that billing cycle according to ordinance 2025-10. We have a motion to accept. You have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Resolution 2025, R35. Resolution 2025-R35. The resolution to enter into an agreement with Everhart Animal Shelter in Yellville, Arkansas for the City of Old Shoals Animal Control. Whereas Everhart Pet Shelter is a 100% volunteer organization in which every dollar goes towards the care of the animals they receive. And whereas Everhart has requested in writing letter to the cities of Yellville, Flippin, Summit, and Old Shoals that these cities pay a $25 surrender fee for every pet that is surrendered to them to help pay for the care of the surrendered animal. And whereas Everhart would greatly appreciate the City of Old Shoals payment for this service, requesting a $25 fee for each stray animal admitted into the shelter. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Old Shoals, Marion County, Arkansas, that Everhart will submit to the City of Old Shoals an invoice that will state $25 fee for each animal the City of Old Shoals Animal Control Officer surrenders to Everhart. This fee is to help in the care for the surrendered animal. Have a motion to accept.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next thing on the agenda is talk about the stocking of blue bags throughout the city. We talked about this in workshop, and well, we have found that majority of the people have been putting in their food items in these recycled bags, putting in used diapers into these recycled bags, and other non-recyclable items. I had talked to Bethlehem Waste Management, Bill, who runs, he's the head manager, and I asked him if it was possible to go to clear bags instead of blue bags, and he says, yes, it is possible. It's not going to stop your problem, though. So I think, personally, I've seen this happen before. It did work for us when I was public works director. We have bins down there that we collect newspaper, we collect aluminum, we have bins for that, and we already have a stock for cardboard. Those are what we mainly recycle. It's up to you guys on how do you feel about that?
My take on it is to discontinue the blue bags, although I'm pro recycling and pro a little bit of tree hugging here and there. It's costing the city money, it's costing us manpower hours. We have people that, you know, even though their Costco rotisserie chicken is finished, they're leaving the rotisserie chicken in the plastic and it's going into the bag. There's a health problem for people going through these bags. We've learned in the past that a lot of these recycling initiatives, no matter how great they sound on paper, a lot of it still ends up in a landfill anyways. So giving power to the people to recycle on their own, distribute it at our local recycling area, just seems to be a much better, safer ordeal for all parties involved. I would hope that there is some sort of break on the pricing for us. I doubt that will happen, but I think going towards bins is the right way to go and get our guys out there doing more work and not sitting around digging through people's trash all day.
I think it's definitely a negotiating point for the next contract with garbage disposal. I mean, Bill agrees that, you know, maybe people won't have to send this truck over here 3 times and bring the garbage to us where we have to deal with it. He does take half of it and brings it back to his shop. So, and he's running the same problem. It's not recyclable stuff in the blue bags. But the city will still offer the drop-off points for cardboard, aluminum cans or any aluminum, newspapers, and
And plastic.
the plastics, they gotta be the right plastics, so
1 and 2.
that's the problem.
1 and 2 numbers.
Right. And, you know, we'll have a spot for them, but, you know, we just can't keep going on the way we are. That dumpster, after it gets empty, the next day, they're got it plumb full again. And it's all blue bags, because, you know, it's, like I said, used diapers and food items, it's not recyclable stuff.
Agreed.
So I look for a motion that we do stop blue bags.
Motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Citizens' comments, finally, thank you. Did I miss it? On the house?
No, you didn't vote on it.
Yeah, we talked about it. Okay, my question would be to the attorney, with the new changes, you said you saw the new changes?
I think the current version of it, I don't think it is.
No, Judge. Okay, look for a motion to, for what?
To pass.
Okay, we got a motion, we got a second. Any discussion on it? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Curious. Okay. Citizens' comments? No, thank you.
How is everybody?
Who is this, Mr. Fancher?
Yeah. Okay, so, first of all, I love taking guys, please turn your mic out so the fine folks watching on the internet can hear you. Hello. Okay. Well, let's see, everybody agree. How are you? Okay, however, alcohol privilege tax. Are we gonna start taxing people for fishing?
No, we've always had this privilege tax.
It's ridiculous, okay? If we're wanting a way to make money, the first thing we want to do, if you're gonna talk about alcohol, is allow sales on Sunday for the liquor stores, Casey's if they come, Art, and Dollar General, where they can sell their whole store for the whole week. So I'm calling on you guys to get that on the ballot next year. Okay? The next thing that I want to talk about is I'm all for salaried employees. I don't have all the numbers that you guys were reading off a minute ago. However, I do believe it says that the chief would be making around $43,000. As of January 1st, 2025,
25, unless you make more than $58,656 annually as a salary employee, you still get paid overtime. So if you were trying to not pay overtime for salaried employees, and that's the reason for making them salary, you're not getting away from that. If they're going to work 100 hours every 2 weeks, you're still going to be paying them overtime.
Police and fire fall on a whole different ground.
And the police, and just so you know, because you probably were privy to this, the police officers came to us and asked us to put them on salary because if they were paid hourly, they could not volunteer for the volunteer fire department. And we have 2 officers, and one of the volunteers is the volunteer fire department, so.
Once again, I'm all for salary, I think everybody should be salary. But with that new law, I just wanted to make sure that everybody's aware that just because you're salary doesn't mean that you don't be going on. So, but I would really like to see you guys get on the ballot for Sunday sales for the restaurant, not the restaurant, for the first. I mean, that alone, think about watching all the tourists that we're gonna have, especially if we start hosting this vast tournament. People that come in on Sundays, we're sending them to Melville, we're sending them to Missouri, and we're sending them out. We're telling the stores that they can't even sell their whole store. All we gotta do is look at them. Get little dollars. That's all we gotta do.
That's something that, this council can consider, to put it on the ballot. Roughly, it's gonna be, I think the last special election we had was $3,500. That was for mayor. So anytime we put it on the ballot, it's gonna cost around $3,500. Is it 7,500? Okay.
Well, I'm not saying it's special, I'm just saying for the next one.
Well, we did this at November's election, so,
So if you're putting anything on there,
we're gonna have to weigh if this is gonna be a sustainable cost to do that.
that's a no-brainer. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other citizen comments?
What you got on paper?
My name is Pat Curtis. I live at 201 Mountain Vista, and I would like to talk about Belarco. There's people living in Belarco, and I know this because I live in the neighborhood. I drive around all the time just to see. I see the same cars parked in front of the same rooms with lights on and people there. They're not supposed to be doing that, but they are. Belarco was voted down by the city council and the citizens, but they continue to do what they want to and live there. So what the city council and the citizens say means nothing. So why do we have city council meetings? And if you're not going to listen to what the citizens and the councils are saying and do what you want, why are we here? Why don't Belarco have to follow the same rules that the citizens have to? I follow the rules that are made. The council and the citizens voted on this, and it needs to be enforced. Please tell me why it's not. Seeing Belarco doing what they do and not enforcing this is like a slap in the face to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any others?
Please make those people move. They're breaking the law.
Any other citizens comments?
Tim Curtis, 201 out of this one. I know what you're trying to do, bring, stuff back. We had, 2 BASS tournaments here, one in the 80s, one in the 90s. We had some big ones. We had a PWG came in for, and that was a great big one. Tyson brought one in with over 350 boats and everything else. The big problem is we don't have motel rooms. We don't have motel rooms. And then when you guys put right here on this paper that you want to sponsor this, About that
Posting,
But when this happened, please Google about the Alabama bass tournament where the people were killed, and you'll see they're suing everybody. Anybody that had any name, the professional
And somebody sues Walmart anyway, yeah, you can tie into the lawsuit, but they're not necessarily liable in the same way here, but it's not even comparable, so I'm not concerned. We should not be worried.
any other citizens' comments?
Council members, I've had a lot of complaints after our attorney gave a presentation 2 months ago. People are very upset. Most of it is falling around us not enforcing planning and zoning codes. We've tried to do this with you guys several times in the last 6 months. Tonight's probably not the night because we had one meeting council. But I asked for a time at the workshop in January, and I would like you to set about a half hour, 45 minutes aside just for planning and zoning, because I would like to bring up all the changes we talked about. We got tabled. I want to bring up our letter that we sent out that you guys stopped us from enforcing rules, and we need to talk about this. This is the backbone of both Shoals. And look at the citizens. They are mad. Most of them left already, so we didn't get to them. But I'm sure a lot of you guys have gotten phone calls regarding this also, and we need to talk about it. And we're going to have a great discussion at the next workshop. So please leave enough time for planning zoning for the next meeting.
Brady and I already kind of talked about this. This is obviously going to be a bit of a thing. So in order to streamline things and make sure we're not digressing throughout this conversation, I'd really like if there was some sort of, I guess the term would be agenda, or if there's any pre-questions that we can have out to be answered for us to understand, because a lot of times I feel like we get into these meetings and we're kind of like grabbing at everything and trying to get something answered, and it's just not clear and concise. And if we're going to do this, let's just make sure that we have somewhat of an agenda, the questions on deck, so we all understand what's going to be asked. He can understand what's, that way we're not just like, well, this he said, she said. So I want in writing the questions, the concerns, so that they can be answered appropriately and we can get hard-driven answers. Because it just seems like we do this back and forth, and it's just we need, if we're going to do it, let's make sure we get everything in paper and writing.
Yes, and I agree with that. We do have a planning zoning meeting in January on the 14th. We'll be discussing quite a bit of stuff also. We'll be adding some more changes hopefully. I don't know if you guys still have the changes we submitted to you before. I can certainly submit them again. I don't know if you guys still have them.
Yeah, I've actually reviewed like the food truck thing, and there's some other stuff in there about the pay.
Yes.
And I'm more than happy to discuss this for however long we need in the next workshop.
Fantastic. If that's okay with you guys, I would like to do that, because the citizens are upset. We've heard a couple tonight, and it is something that we need to fix. We can't go into the future if we don't fix the present, and the present is broken. We need to bring it into the, we talked about it, and Mr. Bowen and I had a conversation months ago, making a level playing field for all the citizens. Either we follow, everybody follows the rules, or nobody has to. You guys have to make that decision, and we need to talk about it. So I'll put an outline together for all of you. We will have quick, there's no questions, there's topics to talk about. You guys said if you have any questions, you have my number, my email, feel free to contact me.
And please include, P&Z's rebuttals to the things that Will or Mr. King discussed. That way we're not trying to retroactively figure out what was said.
Yes, I do have quite a bit. There are quite a few things that I don't agree with that people give us, but it's an opinion, and we can get an attorney to say anything. But one thing I would like to see is the question that was asked that created this opinion. Because anybody can come up with an opinion, but we don't know what was ever asked of them. And I believe it was from a reserve, and that one was happy about. So we'll discuss that also at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to kind of speak to that a little bit. This is our year anniversary, all of us, except for Joey. You know, he's been doing this a while. This is the first year for all of us. And I can honestly say that I do not want to be dealing with this issue the next year. Because the phone calls, the emails, the angry comments that I get every single day about this one issue, it's ridiculous. We have got to do something. One way or the other. However this comes down, we've got to do something about this. This cannot, we're up here working our tails off trying to get businesses to come here and people to come here. And like Pat says, you can't have people coming here if there's nowhere for them to stay. We've got to deal with this. Period. And it's got to come to a resolution. Because I do not want to be in December of next year, at the end of my term, I don't want to be getting the amount of angry emails and phone calls I'm getting about, you know, resort. So something's got to give. And whatever it takes, I'm on board, but we got to do something.
Any other?
Mayor's comments.
Sure. I wish it would be short. I want to advise that Mr. Knockett has filed another suit against the city. So we're dealing with that.
About what?
Do you want an appropriate answer or an inappropriate?
If you can make sense out of it, power to you. I think the only one that will understand this is that man right over there. But he added 4 more people to his original countersuit while on the village park.
That's enough.
And I want to bring this up because I can't believe, one, okay, the Marion County Forum Court has passed an ordinance 2025-53 and an ordinance 2025-54. 53 pertains to a 1.25% increase, tax increase, and this is to help build a community center for Marion County. If 53 passes in full, it'll be 1.2% increase in your tax, sales tax. If it's broken down 2 ways. If it doesn't pass for the community center, then they have 54, which is a 0.25% sales tax, and that one will pass. And either way, either ordinance that they're requesting be voted on, it doesn't matter. A 0.25% sales tax is going to be able to be used by the county any way they want in their general fund. So they're trying to, it didn't pass this last election. Okay. Yeah, well, they're trying again backdooring us. Okay. So, I mean, it states in here, let me see where I can find it. For general purpose of the county, sales and use tax shall be levied and collected on the gross, no, that's not it, yeah. I gotta highlight it on this other one. It says, they got okay, acquire, construction, improve, expand, equip, furnish, operate, and maintain park and recreation facilities, including particularly a new community center and any facility or improvement related thereto, or in support thereof. And or B, to pay and secure the repayment of bonds approved by the voters and issued by the county from time to financial capital improvements, or C, for general purposes of county government. Okay.
So they vote it in effect, or are they putting that up on the election again?
It's coming up on the election. You're going to be able to vote on both of these. One, okay, a 1.25 sales tax increase, or two, a 0.25% sales tax. If one doesn't pass, then it automatically goes, and they're going to have that 0.25% sales tax done. That's when I'm reading this stuff. Somehow they're going to get that 4% no matter what, for just general fund. So I would definitely take the time, all you folks out there, take the time, research this before you make a decision on your vote. Okay? Just educate yourself on the items coming forth at election time. You have the choice. I do have very good news. I don't know if you've seen this. This is Casey. This is Casey's. They have applied for permits for a sign. Obviously, they've already named and numbered their store for both Shoals.
All right.
It's going to be Both Shoals, Arkansas, store number 5178.
178.
So,
Start time or anything on that, or any start time for site preparation?
as soon as we get the permit package, because we're sending we're worked on that today. As soon as we get that together, it'll be there, the rest of the day tomorrow, getting all the permits together, send it off to them. As soon as they get the permits, sign them, send them back with the fees required. It's up to them to break ground. I think that is all I have, thank goodness.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
I've seen it. It's my neighbor's house. That's wonderful.
I'm on the right side of the sock. That's what he said.
Farmers market. Yeah, what we have to do is that one because it has got nothing to do but and that's I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about that. I mean, it's serious, right? Yeah. You're already 20 years old. Because it takes money. You know what I can pay money for a resort.
I'm staying here so I don't fall.
You want me to push you another way? You want me to push you? I got you, girl. You going nowhere.